What does everybody have and nobody likes? That is a service engine light. Now, my service engine soon light came on today, and I was actually very thankful that this light came on. Earlier this morning on my way to work, I started to get a horrible vibration in the car. It was lurching, jerking, and I thought, wow, something is seriously wrong. I did not have a light on at the time, and I thought, man, the worst thing that can happen to you is you can have a serious problem and no light, and it just makes it a little hard to troubleshoot. Once the light came on, I was a happy camper because that meant I could get home and use my code scanner to find out what was wrong with my car. Now I have a auto fix. I've had this for a while. I really love these meters. You need one of these. I know you can borrow them in the auto store, but it's a whole lot easier to be able to clear codes and work on your car in your garage, especially if your car won't even drive to the auto store. And as cheap as these have gotten, you need to get one. There's also another type on the market. There's a kind that work with your phone. And so you just plug this little device, and via Bluetooth, it just talks back to your phone and you can troubleshoot your car. I personally like the handheld better, and that's what we're going to use today. So let's take a look. So we have our ODB, sorry, I can't speak, engine code selected. We'll press enter. It's going to enter the system. The car is actually sitting here idling. You can do this a couple different ways. You can do it with the key on or just plug it in and turn it on. But it tells me that the engine light is on. Duh, I can see my engine light right there on the dash. And we're going to take a look and find out why the engine light is on. So let's go ahead and read the codes. And current codes are misfire cylinder 2. So that makes total sense. The car was misfiring as it was going down the highway. Now, lots of things will cause your car to lurch and jerk, but a misfire is one of the more common ones, and typically it means that the coil has gone bad, specifically on a Ford. Now, I'll be honest with you. Originally, this said cylinder 4 misfire, and I'm going to show you what I did to troubleshoot this. Now, this is the engine that is in my town car, and I looked up the specs for it, and I found out that cylinder number 1 is here, 2 is here, 3 is here, 4 is here. Now remember, originally I was pulling the code number 4. So these cars are notorious about losing these coil packs. These are the coil packs. They're held on literally by one little teeny tiny screw, and that's a 10mm screw. You pull that out and this whole thing lifts off, and we'll take a look at one in a second. Regardless, I pulled number 4 out and I swapped it with number 2. I took my code reader and I cleared my codes, and I drove this car around the block, and instead of throwing a misfire on number 4, it threw the misfire on number 2. That tells me that my coil is bad. Now, had it not done that, had the code still followed on number 4, even though I had swapped the tops of the coil packs out, then I would have had to take a look at maybe a spark plug, maybe pull the plug and see if the spark plug was bad. In my case, it was the coil. Or the only other thing that, well, there's many things, but typically the only other thing that could cause a misfire would be a bad injector. More rare than these coil packs. These go bad all the time. But we're going to take a look at one. I'll show you what they look like. And when you pull one of these out, they look like that. Now inside here is a spring, and then your coil is on top, and each spark plug has its own coil. In the old times, the old cars had one coil that went to all cylinders, and then as things progressed, we had coil packs, which were a few coils that fired more than one cylinder. And today we've kind of went to one coil per cylinder, which is kind of nice because when you lose one, it doesn't leave you stranded on the road. Basically, this whole thing gets replaced, and that's what we're going to do. The new one looks pretty much the same, some different colors, but we don't really care. I went with an Apple one today, mainly because these things go bad all the time, and I figured if I paid a little extra, maybe I'd get something a little better. But the other thing that kind of struck my fancy was it was a few dollars more, but it has a 3-year warranty. And I thought, well, at least I'll get 3 years out of it. I couldn't find one with a lifetime warranty, or trust me, I would have purchased one. One thing I do is I always take a little bit of dielectric grease and I smear it on this spring down in here, because this is the part that touches the top of the spark plug. And that just kind of keeps it from corroding up and rusting up and makes a nice good connection. I'll put a link to everything I've used here in the description, including the car meter, just in case you guys are inquisitive on what I have or you want to buy one. But look in the description, you'll see links to everything I've used here. When you're applying this grease, you really don't want anything on the outside of this boot. You want to keep it pretty much dry all around. So I'm just going to take a rag and clean this up a little bit. But you do want the grease down inside that spring. And the reason being is you have too much grease on it, there's a possibility. It's a chance that it might actually arc through the goo and to the engine, and you'll get a misfire. But you do want to put something on this just to protect it. And now you just shove it back in the hole, just like so. Put your screw in, put your plug in, start your car, and see what you got. Now I can already tell that this car is running really smooth again like it did earlier this morning when I left for work. So that did solve our problem, but we still have the dreaded engine light. So we need to clear that out, and luckily some of these scanners will clear them out. So let's figure out if we can learn how to clear our code. There it is, erase codes. So we'll go down to erase codes, and if I can get it to select down there, and we'll press enter. And I'm sure it's going to say, hey, are you sure? Yes, we've already fixed the problem. We want our engine light off, so we're going to press enter. And it says, please turn ignition on with ignition engine off. Press enter key. I'm going to do it with the engine running because I've already done this. I know it's not going to hurt it, but you guys should follow the directions. Don't do as I do. Read the directions. Press enter. And it says, diagnostic information has been cleared. And if we look back at our dash, we have no more engine light, and the car is running beautiful again. So there you have it. If you're having problems with your car misfiring, you really need to go get an engine reader, figure out what cylinder is misfiring, do a little bit of troubleshooting, replace the coil pack if it's, that's your problem, and you'll be good to go. I think the total cost on the coil packs are about $40. I actually purchased a little bit more at the store, but I want to say it was $40 for a coil pack. You can probably find a better deal online. Heck, if I find a better deal, I'll post it down below in the description. So if you like a lot of do-it-yourself type videos, normally I build stuff, but I thought today would be a little different. We'll fix the car instead. Like and subscribe to my videos, and you might find something that's fun or something you might like to build yourself.